3 months have passed since Kalen entered the academy. His stats have increased steadily, the system tracking his progress with cold, precise numbers: strength, 28, agility, 31, fortitude, 34, wisdom, 22, grace, 18. He is no longer the underfed mopper who crawled through the gray mile, scraping a living from monster corpses. His body has hardened into something lean and dangerous. His reflexes have sharpened to a razor's edge. His private training sessions with Headmistress Ashford have pushed him beyond what most cadets experience in a full year. He can now block 3 of her strikes before she disarms him. She calls this acceptable progress. From her, it is high praise. From anyone else, it would be a declaration of war. Then the rhythm stops. Headmistress Ashford is called to the front lines. Not to fight, her body is too old for that, held together by military discipline and cybernetic replacements, but to advise. The commanders in the field trust her strategic mind. The troops need to see her scarred face and mechanical arm to remember what they are fighting for. She will be gone for 2 weekends. Kalen has no private training, no simulators, no ancient warrior trying to kill him with wooden swords. He trains with the general recruits, but it feels like jogging when he needs to sprint. The boredom gnaws at him like a starving animal. On the second weekend, Kalen makes a decision. He sneaks out of the city. Not through the main gates. Those are guarded, watched, monitored, but through an old drainage tunnel he used in his previous life as a mopper. The tunnel is dark, rusted, forgotten. It empties into the wasteland east of Aethelberg, his old stomping ground, the place where he first tested his system, the place where he killed his first monsters in this new life. He tells himself it is just training. Practical application. The system agrees, providing a familiar blue window. Optional quest: hunt small monsters, reward. Minor stat increase. He readies his bow and twin daggers and disappears into the ruins. He does not know that Vashti Ashford saw him sneak out. She was in the library reading tactics manuals when she noticed a shadow move past the window. A shadow that moved like someone who had survived things no cadet should survive. She followed out of curiosity. She followed through the drainage tunnel. She followed across the cracked wasteland. She watched from a distance as Kalen lowered himself into a hunting stance. She watched him stalk a pack of spine devils with the patience of a predator, not prey. Kalen killed the first 3 with his bow. He had learned archery from the system's wisdom branch, and his arrows flew true. The first spine devil took an arrow through the eye socket, the second through the throat. The third tried to run, but Kalen had already anticipated its escape route. The arrow caught it between the shoulder blades. He killed the remaining 2 with his twin daggers, sliding between their attacks like water between stones. Vashti watched, transfixed. She had never seen a cadet fight like this. No wasted movement, no unnecessary force, just efficient, brutal killing. Her mother had taught her that combat was an art. Kalen made it look like butchery. Beautiful, necessary butchery. Then the unique monster appeared. It emerged from a collapsed building, larger than the others, darker. Its eyes glowed with an intelligence that the smaller spine devils lacked. The system identified it immediately. Rift Stalker, level 22. Unique variant ability, predictive adaptation. This creature learns and anticipates its opponent's attack patterns. Kalen had never fought anything like this. He fired an arrow. The stalker tilted its head exactly 1 inch to the left. The arrow missed. He threw a dagger. The stalker twisted its body midair. The blade scraped scales, but drew no blood. He charged with his remaining dagger. The stalker sidestepped and clawed his back open. Kalen fell. Blood soaked through his tunic. He rolled, came up swinging, but the stalker was already gone. It appeared behind him. Another claw strike. Another gash. Kalen realized with cold horror that the monster was not just faster than him. It was reading him. Every feint, every strike, every desperate dodge. The stalker had already seen it coming. He was fighting something that knew his next move before he did. He was losing, and losing meant dying. Vashti moved. She did not think. She acted. Her sword left its sheath and flew through the air, not aimed at the stalker, but at the ground between Kalen and the beast. The blade struck a piece of rubble, sending sparks and stone fragments into the monster's face. The stalker recoiled. It had not anticipated interference. For 2 seconds, precious, life-saving seconds, its predictive adaptation failed. Kalen did not waste those seconds. He lunged forward, ignoring the fire in his back, and drove his remaining dagger into the stalker's throat. Not deep enough to kill, but deep enough to slow it. Vashti was already running toward them. She retrieved her sword and fell into position beside Kalen. They did not speak. There was no time. The stalker recovered, snarling black blood dripping from its throat. Vashti attacked first, her sword work precise and elegant, the product of a lifetime of training. The stalker adapted to her quickly, but Kalen used those precious moments to circle behind it. When it turned to face Vashti fully, he struck. Both daggers now, both buried in the base of the creature's skull. The stalker collapsed. Kalen collapsed beside it. Vashti grabbed his arm. "Get up. We have to go, now." He looked up. The horizon was moving, not clouds, not wind. Monsters, dozens, then hundreds. The fight had drawn attention. The blood had drawn predators, and worse, in the distance, Vashti saw lights, human lights, torches. Someone else had heard the commotion. Someone who was hunting in the wasteland at night. In her experience, people who hunted at night were not the kind of people you wanted to meet. They ran. Kalen's vision blurred. He lost blood with every step. Vashti half-carried him across the cracked earth. Behind them, the horde grew. Behind the horde, the torches multiplied. They reached the drainage tunnel just as the first wave of monsters crested the ridge. Vashti shoved Kalen inside and followed. They crawled through darkness, filth, and their own blood. They emerged inside the city walls just as the night watch spotted them. The watch captain recognized Vashti's face. He recognized Kalen's wounds. He did not ask questions. He simply raised his signal lantern and shouted to the wall gunners, "Cover fire, cadets incoming." The cannons roared. The monsters fell. Vashti and Kalen collapsed inside the gate. They survived, but survival has a price. The disciplinary board convened the next morning. The facts were not disputed. 2 cadets left the city without authorization. They engaged in unauthorized combat. They endangered themselves and the soldiers sent to rescue them. The board was prepared to expel them both. Headmistress Ashford, having been summoned back from the front lines, sat in the back of the room and said nothing. Her face was stone, but her eyes watched Kalen with something that might have been approval. The punishment was announced. 3 weeks of latrine duty, scrubbing toilets with hand brushes, and 3 weeks of service with the mopping crew, clearing battlefields, processing monster corpses. The very job Kalen had died doing in his previous life. He accepted the punishment without argument. Vashti accepted it with her chin raised and her jaw tight. She did not apologize. Neither did he. That night, Vashti found Kalen in the infirmary getting his wounds dressed. She sat on the cot next to his. Neither spoke for a long time. Finally, she said, "You fight like someone who has already died." Kalen looked at her, really looked at her, not for threats, not for tactical assessment. He looked at her because she had saved his life. She had followed him into the wasteland. She had stood beside him against a monster that could read minds. She had dragged his bleeding body through a drainage tunnel while a horde chased them. He realized for the first time that Vashti Ashford was not just the headmistress's daughter. She was not just a skilled swordswoman. She was someone who would not let him die alone. "I have," Kalen said quietly, in a way. Vashti did not ask what he meant. She simply nodded. Then she leaned her head against his shoulder and closed her eyes. Kalen did not move away. The system provided a notification. Id bond strengthened. Vashti Ashford. Ally status upgraded to trusted companion. For once, Kalen did not read the notification. He was too busy watching Vashti breathe. The toilets awaited them in the morning, but for now, in the dark of the infirmary, 2 cadets who should have died sat together in silence, and something between them shifted. Not love, not yet, but the absence of loneliness. That was enough.